Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, this is another MCU review. Today we're doing something for sure. And that something is, of course, What If Season 1. I saved it. Don't worry, I saved it, alright? I saved it. Anyway, yeah, we are basically reviewing the first animated MCU thing out there. I have seen this a little bit on Disney+, when it released. I don't know, at 2020, 2021, something like that. I don't have the Blu-ray. I need to get it. Yeah, I have Hawkeye. I ordered that on Blu-ray, so that should be coming in, I believe, September 2nd or September 6th. So after this show, of course, we've got Shang-Chi and Eternals, and then we're going to take a bit of a break, just a few days until Hawkeye arrives on Blu-ray. I'll watch that, and then we'll go back to the MCU. Don't worry, I got a bunch of stuff coming up to fill the MCU void. But anyway, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to like, subscribe if you're new. It really does help your boy out. Again, it's free. Takes a second. Thank you very much for doing that. And yeah, tell me in the comments down below what you thought about What If Season 1. But before we get, don't worry, it's not the end. We're just getting started. I have my phone out here because I wanted to make sure I hit on every single episode of this series. There's 9, I believe. And I saw the first, I think I saw the first 5 back when it came out. For some reason, I didn't finish it. But now, the multiverse is expanding thanks to Deadpool and Wolverine, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We got a lot of fun stuff with the MCU, right? With stuff that previously wasn't in the MCU, now canon to the MCU. Really freaking cool stuff. And we also have this show, What If, which it's animated, yes. But I gotta kind of specify 2 things. Yes, it's animated, but it is still canon to the MCU. It's number 1. These are just as canon as basically anything that you can get with the MCU. Obviously, they don't happen within the main MCU. It's the multiverse. It's What If, right? It's different stories that aren't in the main MCU sacred timeline, but they're still canon. They still come out really good stuff. And also, yes, it's animated. And a lot of people are kind of put off by animation. I don't really know why. This isn't going to be an animation rant video. I've made those. I might make another one in the future. Who knows? But, to basically put it forward, in animation, there's different styles of animation. There's the child animation, which is, Arthur, Dora, Blue's Clues, Bluey. Stuff that's made literally for children, like babies and children. And then you have stuff that's for all ages, right? You get, like, SpongeBob, Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, regular show, Adventure Time, Ninjago, stuff like that. The list goes on, right? Obviously, I would say Ninjago's more for 12, 13 up, especially with the later seasons. And then you get, like, the Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, the animated Star Wars stuff. That, I would, in my opinion, I would probably give those the PG-13 slap. And then, of course, you have your adult-only animation, like Simpsons, Rick and Morty, Family Guy, Harley Quinn, that kind of stuff. And this, honestly, this isn't adults only. It's actually rated TV-14, but a lot of people were kind of put off at the time because it's animated, right? Oh, it's animated. It's for children. It's a kid's show. And I watch Mr. Sunday Movies a lot. I think they're a really good channel, but they're kind of old. They're kind of boomery. And I was watching a What If video, and they were like, yeah, it's for children. And I'm like, is it? They're like, yeah, it's a kid's show. And I'm like, is it? Really? I don't know. It's really not. A kid's show is, look, that's one of my franchise pet peeves. I genuinely hate the term kid show. Because when someone says a kid's show, it's something meant for kids and kids only, right? An adult show is something for adults. A kid show is something for kids. Stuff like SpongeBob and Phineas and Ferb, Ninjago, regular show, Adventure Time, stuff like that. They're not kid shows. They're just animated shows. They're meant for kids, teens, and adults. They're for everyone. There is no target demographic. My dad watches SpongeBob in the basement when he's alone. I'm not even a kid anymore, you know what I mean? My friends, all of the age of 18, watch Ninjago and love it. So no, none of these shows are for kids or for babies. And this is definitely no exception. This is a very, very, very violent show. They say words like damn, hell, crap, pissed, suck, damn it. I mean, friggin', they make dick jokes. I mean, there's a lot of adult humor. There's drinking, there's smoking, there's drug use, there is literal violence where people are getting punched, slapped, kicked, stabbed, shot in the face, off camera, of course. People getting stabbed in the shoulder, there's some blood, there's a lot of existential dread, there's a whole zombie episode where people are literally getting beheaded and, like, cut in half. I don't know what the hell they were smoking when they said it was a kid show. It's not. It's also not an adult show. Again, it's kind of in that weird middle ground. It's like a little bit more mature and violent than like Ninjago or something like that. You know what I mean? Obviously, one's Lego, one's not. But Ninjago is still a violent show if you actually watch it. Not horribly violent, but it is still violent. You get something like the Clone Wars, right? The Clone Wars is pretty gruesome too if you actually watch it. So with Rebels and everything else, you know, but like I said, this is, I really don't know how to classify this, because it's not a kid show, it's also not an adult show, it's also not, you know, for everyone. I would genuinely say What If is more geared for adults, much like the MCU. It has the same rating as the MCU, PG-13, TV-14, so keep that in mind. And as we go into What If Captain Carter were the first Avenger, that's kind of episode 1, where we have, instead of Steve Rogers getting the serum, we get Captain Carter, or you know, Peggy Carter, to take the big old antidote, the super soldier serum, and she gets not quite as jacked as Captain America, but you know, jacked as a woman could get, I think, in the 40s or whatever. And I think, you know, it's a cool concept. You know what I mean? I think it's really, really awesome. But they're taking. And what If is really good at doing is taking stuff that, you know, you wouldn't suspect to happen, and yeah, it's like, yeah, of course it's canon. Anything can happen in the multiverse. So Captain Carter is pretty much playing beat by beat with the first Avenger Captain America movie that is in the Sacred Timeline, except that it's gender swapped. Now don't worry, this isn't some woke thing. This isn't like, oh man, the women are powerful. Like, this isn't a woke thing. It's in the comics. Captain Carter is a good character. It makes sense. Of course, Haley Atwell returned. A lot of the cast did return for this, which is really great. So yeah, basically we kind of get her fighting Red Skull, and it kind of ends with a different twist. Of course, you know, her not being frozen, but like some weird like octopus thing like grabs her in, and she kind of kills it, obviously. And the door's kind of left open, but I think it's a cool concept. I do like the 50s, 40s, whatever style music. The action scenes in this episode are like really freaking good. Like, I know it's animation and you could do more with animation than you could in live action, but it's really, really well handled. I mean, she's throwing the shield and kicking a guy and punching some guy like twice in the head, throwing him outside of a thing. They're playing this happy, you know, this World War II-esque music, but it's very gruesome and violent. I mean, she's literally murdering people. And, you know, it's supposed to be fun and all that, but I'm watching this and I'm like, ooh, this is way more violent than what I remember. And she's like, oh, hell, damn, crap. And I'm like, whoa, they're swearing, holy you know what I mean, it's crazy. But, you know, when you get past that, I just didn't remember half of the stuff. You know what I mean? I've only seen it once. It is a very good episode, and again, not the best thing in the world, but I think it has some really good energy, some good writing, and a good twist, and I think it's a cool concept, and we're going to, of course, see more Captain Carter as the show continues. What if T'Challa, Black Panther, became a Star-Lord? So basically taking Peter Quill is out of the equation. He's working at Dairy Queen or whatever, and we got T'Challa. Instead of being the Black Panther, he is Star-Lord. And I think it's a cool concept. You know what I mean? I think Chadwick Boseman reprised his role, which is really great. Obviously, you know, he passed away, obviously, but it sucks. But this was one of his last roles in the show. And, you know, I think he does a pretty good job. He's not the best voice actor in the world, but you know, he's fine. I think that's a cool concept of Yondu, basically kind of, again, taking a concept of the Ravagers and Yondu and all that stuff, kind of, you know, putting it on the head of instead of Star-Lord Peter Quill, it's Star-Lord T'Challa. It's kind of cool. They have a really cool, like, Wakanda end where they kind of, you do meet T'Chaka, and you see kind of things like that. I think it's a really cool episode, you know what I mean? Nothing too insane, but I thought it was pretty fun. Howard the Duck shows up, and I thought that was kind of cool. The Collector shows up, and this really good, like a boss fight scene. I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, there's some really unique ideas in here, and it's not just, you know, oh, when you read What If T'Challa became a Star-Lord, you're like, I don't know, I guess T'Challa's Star-Lord, whoop-de-frickin-do. But when you actually watch it, it's not just a, oh, what if that happened? Wow, look at this, wow. Like, there's a story to be told with all these. It's not just a what if question and then you're done. You know, there's a genuine story to every episode. And I think this one was actually pretty good upon rewatch. Next one, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? This is like a murder mystery. You're kind of seeing, of course, spoilers, as we see, what's his face, Michael Douglas, Hank Pym? I think, yeah, Hank. He basically turns evil and starts killing all the Avengers, right? Iron Man gets like a shot in the neck and he dies. Hulk literally effing explodes into like green blood everywhere. Black Widow apparently gets killed. Hawkeye gets killed. A lot of Avengers die. Thor gets shot with an arrow and gets killed. Again, pretty gruesome and violent stuff, not something I'd show a child. But it is very much an instance of, okay, wow, they're not playing around. This guy's really pissed. He's killing Avengers. Before we get into it, we'll mention the voice acting. This is where the voice acting kind of, oh boy. So, the people that reprise their role from the movies, they're fine, right? They know their characters, they're doing a good job. People that don't come back, obviously, some of them, not all of them did. Most of them surprisingly did, but one of them that did not is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Obviously, at this point, Tony Stark is dead in the main sacred timeline. He is, of course, now coming back to the MCU as, what's-his-face, Dr. Doom. Because they waggled a shit ton of money in his face, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that'll be a good performance. We gotta wait, apparently, next year or whatever to find out, but that's another thing. But the guy voicing Tony Stark in this is... I'm only saying this because I like to call myself an unpaid voice actor. I want to be a real voice actor for money one day. I can do like 60 voices. I'm not the best in the world. I'm not trying to claim I'm the best ever, but I can admit when I'm good at something, and I'm pretty freaking good at the voices I can do. And I can do a very good Tony Stark. Jarvis, let's do this. And I just want to say the Tony Stark voice in this show, not good. Okay, not good. Very bad, actually. Burn it down. Travis, destroy it. Mark 45. It's not good, okay? It's very not good. It's like that, but instead of, deep and dark and, hey, peace, let's go, peace dark time, it's more like, hey, wow, hey, I'm Tony Stark, and I'm like, it's too high, it's not good, it's trash. Every time I hear it, I cringe. I know Marvel doesn't know about me because I'm just a franchise fanatic. Why the hell would they know about me? I wish they did, because I can do, Tony Stark, Kylo Ren, Obi-Wan, Kermit the Frog. I mean, I'm like the Swiss Army knife of voices. No one knows I exist. And watching this show really sucks in a way, because I'm like, I can do so much better. I was literally repeating his lines in my Tony Stark voice in my effing family room at midnight in the fucking dark, like some kind of weirdo. But I had to. It's just so bad. Anyway, that is a negative. The voice acting for Tony Stark is not great. The MCU is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. They pick a really bad voice actor. Again, I'm only saying he's bad because I can do better. I know not everyone can, but still. Anyway, the world lost its mightiest heroes. Now we're back on track. It just said that was bugging me. It is a good murder mystery. Nick Fury comes back. I think it's really cool. Loki shows up. They kind of have to do a bargain. Phil Coulson shows up. Really good stuff there. And again, it kind of paints the picture of, okay, who's killing the Avengers? What's going on here? And, maybe it's like a microchip, or maybe it's, of some kind of crazy, weird virus. No, it's just Hank Pym. It's an Ant-Man, and he's mad. I think that's kind of a cool twist there. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? This is the one that kind of gets the most buzz online as being the really adult one. And this one's actually not for children. It's like, okay, none of them are, but whatever. This one is very dark, depressing, sad as fudge. Basically, Doctor Strange's girlfriend, Kate Winslet, Keke Palmer, what's her name? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Her name. She dies, right? She keeps dying. And, fuck, what's her name? I'll figure it out, don't worry. But yeah, she keeps dying all the time. And, obviously in the sacred timeline, she doesn't. But in this, this is like the big event, right? The big Nexus event that can't be changed. She keeps dying. And Doctor Strange is trying to, prevent that and go back in time, use the Mind Stone, and prevent this from happening, right? There has to be something that can be done to prevent her death. And the Ancient One shows up and like, hey, bro, stop. She's got to die, either from a heart attack or getting killed, or, like, she has a heart attack in one scene, she gets shot in the head in another, she gets in a car crash like 3 different times. She basically always dies a really gruesome death in this universe, and Stephen Strange cannot change that. Of course, he doesn't believe that, and he tries to change it, and he kind of mucks up everything in the end. He kind of goes to this Comertage-like area, channels the energy of all these weird beasts and squids and all that, and at the end, he literally destroys his entire universe, or world, because he tried to do something that he knew wasn't very good. I get it, it is dark and depressing. There's a few funny jokes in there, but I think for the most part, this one really is effective because it shows that he's really trying to save this girl, but at the end, he just destroys everything in the world, which is it's jacked up. Yeah, because the episode literally ends with him crying, like, in a fetal position as the world implodes around him, just because he wanted to save the woman he loved. It's really effed up, but it's also really effective because, yeah, he didn't lose his hands, he lost his heart, he lost his girl, and he tried to prevent that, and lots of bad stuff happened. We also get to see evil Doctor Strange, which I'm not sure is the one that's in Multiverse of Madness, but maybe it's a variation, I don't know, but we'll see him again for sure in the next coming episodes here. But I enjoyed that one. It was definitely slow, and they took their time, which is really great. They weren't being super jokey. But not all these are jokey. I think the MCU has a tendency to become too jokey and too funny when it shouldn't be. I think they actually struck a pretty good balance with the show. What if zombies, right? This is obviously the most gory and gruesome one. It's not straight up blood and guts everywhere, but they do have a little bit of blood and stuff. They are making a animated zombie show, which is going to be adults only, going to be rated MA, which I don't know if I'd make a whole show about zombies, but whatever. I'm going to watch it. But the zombie episode is cool. It's literally a zombie apocalypse, and a lot of the Avengers and millions of people are dead or turned into zombies. And the ragtag, freedom fighters of Scott Pilgrim, Scott Lang's head, Peter Parker, who also is not voiced by Tom Holland, but I will say I think the voice actor did a pretty good job of being Tom Holland. I can tell because I'm a voice guy, but it did sound very, very close, and it's a fudge ton better than Tony Stark, I tell you what. But I think they did a good job with that. I like that they're straight up showing beheadings, people getting bisected through thick and thin. They're getting chopped up, shot. It's pretty crazy. And it tells the story of Hope Van Dyne, of kind of how she kind of started this in a way, trying to bring her mom back from the quantum realm. Really good stuff there, and she kind of ends up dying. But I think Vision's involved, and Crazy Wanda, which I guess is like a prelude to Multiverse of Madness. Again, I like the audacity to show what they're showing. There's a few funny moments, which I think were warranted and made sense. But I really did enjoy the fact that we have this zombie apocalypse, and that's something we've seen in the comics, but we've never seen it on screen before. So I think that they handled it pretty friggin' well. It's intense. It's kind of funny, but it's also really dark and depressing, as a zombie apocalypse should be. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? Again, this one is, oh boy, you get to hear that crap Tony Stark voice a lot. Thank God he dies in this, because Jesus. Anyway, Killmonger, of course, the bad guy for Black Panther, I guess his name's just Killmonger. When a different universe and all that, different reality. So basically, they kind of start with playing the events of Iron Man 1. And he's, peace, I love peace, and then the bomb hits, and instead of him getting all the shrapnel and shit in his chest, Killmonger just takes the bomb and yeets it over the corner and blows it up, and there you go. And Killmonger basically helps him, and they kind of have this big scheme, and of course Killmonger's bad, right, obviously. He teams up with Claw, and they kind of make these robots to kind of invade Wakanda. Killmonger is a good villain, a very good villain in the Black Panther movie. I'd actually argue to say he's better in this, because he's like smarter, he's able to kind of, you see more. He still kills Claw, he still shoots him in the head, and he actually does kill Tony Stark, but he has, I guess, maybe less of an incentive in this, maybe less of a well-written one, but I don't know, maybe the tide, who knows. But I did think he was well written here. I thought they had a pretty good job there in doing that. Of course, a lot of the Wakandans show up. Shuri's a lot younger, so I don't think that's Letitia Wright or whatever her name is. When she's not getting chastised online, I don't think she was in this. Maybe she was, I don't know. But I thought everyone did a pretty good job with the voice acting. Of course, T'Challa, I believe, shows up. I might be wrong about that. But I thought that was pretty cool. And it is a pretty dark episode. I mean, it ends with a freaking flat-out war with Thunderbolt Ross and all that, and it ends up with Tony Stark's death, and Killmonger kind of is trying to take control over Stark Industries and just kind of become a leader. And we'll see that bleed into more episodes. But I thought it was a cool twist. Again, all these episodes have cool twists. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? Oh yeah, cool. What if that happened? That'd be neat. But like I said, the stories with these are really great. I'm not gonna recap every little baby scene, but I think they did a pretty good job with it as well. The animation is great. I love, some of the episodes have anime-inspired visuals. Some of them are more stylized. I think the animation is really great as well. I should mention that now. I thought they did a good job with that. What if Thor were an only child? We're on 7 out of 9. This one, they basically took, hey, Thor is funny, right? Thor's funny now. Let's just make him even more funny and stupid, That's kind of how that ended up going. Again, you guys know my thoughts on Thor being funny in Ragnarok. It really doesn't make any sense. It's funny, but it doesn't make any sense. Thankfully, Thor Love and Thunder made it make sense a little bit, but when Ragnarok came out in theaters, I genuinely didn't like it that much. It's fun, it's well made, it's funny, but the characterization of Thor just took a freaking really weird left turn out of nowhere. I never thought Thor was boring or stupid or something. I thought he was a great character. He's still fine, I guess, but in this they really, I'm fine with it in this episode because it's a different universe, a different reality. Basically, Thor is a prankster, and he's still the God of Thunder, but he's pretty much like a little baby God of Thunder. Not like physically, but mentality. He's like a kid. He's drinking all the time, he's drinking beer, he's partying with chicks. I mean, obviously that's shit that I want to do too, but at the same time, when you have the God of Thunder, I mean, there's some certain stuff you have to do, and he's kind of neglecting his duties. He's going to Earth and partying. He's kind of just not being a superhero. And then Captain Marvel ends up fighting him. I don't think it's Brie Larson. It's okay, I guess. I can't do better. I'm a dude. But I think Brie Larson's fake voice actor girl did fine, I guess. I could tell it's not Brie, but whatever. They have a little fight, and I thought that was kind of cool. And again, it ends with a really funny note with, him kind of Frigga, his mom, being like, I'm coming down to Earth. He's like, oh, don't come down to Earth, oh boy. And, ends up teaching all the classes. There's some funny stuff that happens. Obviously, more happens than I'm saying, but I thought it was a pretty funny episode. They had a lot of really interesting kind of twists happen with Captain Marvel and Thor and all that. And Loki's like a big friggin' frost giant. He's like literally a giant compared to Thor. Loki's just hanging out with his frost giant buddies. He's all blue. I thought they had a good twist there. And again, I think it's kind of cool that we're going to be getting more of him in the future of these episodes. But so far, all these episodes are pretty self-contained, right? Each one is a what if. Each one is its own unique thing. Until we get to What If Ultron 1. I don't know if that's actually the name of it. It might be. I don't know. But basically, this one's another dark, gritty, effed up episode, right? Ultron, of course, in the movie Age of Ultron in the Sacred Timeline, Ultron is, he loses. He tries to create Vision, and they kind of break away with the cradle, and Vision becomes its own entity. But in this universe, that didn't happen, and Ultron pretty much won. He's wiping out planets. He's basically doing what Thanos is doing, but it's not random. It's just like, he's killing everyone. He's murdering, a million people, million planets, and only a few Avengers are left, particularly Hawkeye, Black Widow, maybe a few others, but they're trying to kind of stop him and figure out what's going on here. Really great fight scenes, really awesome stuff, and then this is, of course, where we kind of find out that the Watcher, right, the guy voiced by Jeffrey Wright who played Gordon in The Batman, the Watcher is kind of like, well, he's a watcher. He watches everything happen. He can't interfere. He just has to watch and see everything, how it all unfolds. That's kind of his curse, I guess. And in this, Ultron becomes kind of self-aware and notices the Watcher. He kind of breaks through reality, breaking through, I guess, the fourth wall or whatever, maybe the fifth wall, just having like, hey, I know you're there. And he's like, oh, shoot. And then, a bunch of bad stuff happens. Ultron kind of wins. That actually this storyline bleeds over into 9, the final episode, What If the Watcher Broke His Oath? This is pretty much where the Watcher's like, hey, I'm kind of screwed. Ultron's going to destroy every single planet ever, and I need my own team. So like the Avengers, he gets the Guardians of the Universe, I believe they're called. And you get Thor, you get Black Widow, you get T'Challa, and a few more. And you kind of have this really awesome team-up of these characters that you wouldn't really think would team up in this situation, right? Because you're taking characters from different multiverses, different universes and worlds. You're kind of making them fight together. And what happens is they're trying to stop Ultron. And what happens in this episode is pretty much art. I mean, it's a beautiful episode, man. The action scenes are phenomenal, very well animated. There's a lot of great one-shots. The voice acting is great. I think the effects are really good. The writing is good. There's some funny jokes in there, but really, again, they're trying to stop a murdering, genocidal killer, so it's not that funny. But, some really great stuff. Hawkeye dies. Black Widow makes a really awesome shot for Clint. And again, they're trying to kind of take these Infinity Stones away from him. And, of course, he does die with the help of Arnim Zola and Killmonger, as we saw in episode 6. He tries to get the stones and kind of make the world better by being evil, and that's when Arnim Zola's like, hey, stop it, and there you go. And that's pretty much it. The Watcher thanks them and all that, and Black Widow gets to live in a reality where it's kind of hard to explain, but Earth 1, Black Widow dies, so then the Black Widow we were seeing in this episode goes to Earth 1 and becomes the next Black Widow. You gotta watch it, okay? It makes no goddamn sense if I'm saying it. Just watch them, okay? It's really great. But it is cool that I never actually, saw the whole show. I think I stopped, like I said, at episode 5 or 6. I never finished it, so having the chance to actually rewatch and finish Season 1, really great stuff. Some really good jokes in there, really good references and Easter eggs. I genuinely loved the action scenes. The animation was really great. The jokes were good. There was a lot of darkness and a lot of mature storytelling happening here again. Lots of violence, a lot of swearing, a lot of sex jokes, a lot of drinking. Definitely not something I'd show a child, much like the MCU itself. And I'm glad they didn't dumb it down. I'm glad they didn't make it something for children, or they didn't make it, we can't say poop. Let's just say poo-poo. They were true to the MCU, which is really nice. And I appreciated that. But again, no Stan Lee cameo, sadly. I believe he had passed away at that time. But, you know, seeing Howard the Duck, I guess that's the next best thing. I have not seen What If Season 2. It is going to be part of the MCU rewatch, so that'll be happening soon. Don't worry. I do need to buy this on Blu-ray, man. I freaking love What If. The animation is spectacular regarding, you know, anime influence or just cel-shaded Borderlands-esque style. The action is amazing. The story's great. The voice actors are great when they're not phoning it in like Tony Stark. I think they did a really awesome job of, you know, kind of turning a simple what-if question into a full-on narrative that by the end of it had all these, you know, most to all of these different episodes kind of coinciding into a big collective narrative with the Watcher at the front. Really good stuff there. I didn't expect that to happen. I actually never got spoiled on the show. I didn't know it was going to happen. So I'm actually really surprised that they were able to kind of do that, and they really impressed me, because I didn't expect it to happen at all. I thought each episode was going to be its own unique thing, and they kind of brought it all together in the end to tell one cohesive story. Pretty great stuff. What If is a very, very good show. You know, definitely up there with, I mean, it's probably one of the best Marvel shows ever. I mean, yeah, it's animated, but that doesn't change anything. You know, I mean, the animated nature made it easier for them to tell these stories. Obviously, I think there were going to be more, and they were going to be longer. They're about 30 minutes each. Of course, this was made during COVID at home, so they had a lot of budget issues and all that. But generally speaking, though, the show looks great. It looks freaking awesome. The action scenes are amazing, very innovative, very imaginative, and a heck of a lot of fun to watch. And again, I love how it all kind of, you know, came together in the end to tell a big story with the Watcher at the forefront. Really great stuff. I can't wait to dive into the MCU next with What If Season 2. But before that, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I already watched it. I just got to do the review at the time of reviewing this one. And then we have Eternals. And then, like I said, we're going to take a bit of a break until I get the Hawkeye Blu-ray in the mail. Should be a few days. So no MCU for a little bit. I'm going to, you know, do more gameplay and unboxing and reaction videos and discussion videos and all that fun stuff. I'm going to have a video talking about the MCU multiverse and everything that's now canon, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, just, you know, kind of trying to piece it all together and explain to you guys who may not know what's canon and what's not now, because it can be a little confusing. I'll make a video about that. But anyway, lots of fun stuff to look forward to, man. I'm genuinely excited. I mean, I am exciting, but I'm generally excited to cover more of the MCU again with Shang-Chi next. So tell me in the comments down below, man, what do you think about What If Season 1? What's your favorite episode? And what do you like better, What If Season 1 or 2? Again, haven't seen Season 2, so don't spoil it. Just tell me the episode name, I guess. But yeah, I thought this was really great, really innovative, and a lot of fun. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.